What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Watchmen and Arrowverse video. So, first of all, we have got confirmation that a Superman and Lois Lane TV show will be coming to the Arrowverse. So this is really interesting because we know that after the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, we will be getting a brand new Arrowverse. Of course, Crisis on Infinite Earths united an absolute bloated multiverse in the comic books. And, well, that is very interesting because major things happened here in the Arrowverse, or the DC universe, with one being Supergirl dying and the Flash dying. Now, we know, obviously, that Arrow will be the one who perishes here in Crisis on Infinite Earths. I cannot see the Flash dying at all in this. I cannot see him dying, even though the Monitor said that he will be dying. Well, what I'm predicting here is that we will see all of the Arrowverse shows united onto one Earth post-Crisis. And what can be happening here? Well, the Superman TV show will mean that for the first time, Earth 1 will have a Superman, because at the moment it doesn't have a Superman because he's been weirdly absent from the majority of the Arrowverse shows, with him only being on the Supergirl designated Earth. I believe off the top of my head it is Earth 38. So what does this mean? Well, post-Crisis, all the Supermen unified into one. Well, here we're going to see Superman and Lois Lane here on Earth, and we will see a brand new Earth. There's another way they could do with it. Of course, in DC Rebirth, we had the pre-Crisis Superman appear in the New 52, or at least DC Rebirth. He was then merged with his New 52 self in a Superman Red and Blue storyline, which was just a bit weird, to be honest, just a bit weird. But what I'm seeing here, and what I'm predicting, is that we will be getting Supergirl dying a la Crisis on Infinite Earths. They teased it in a post, or I believe that they did a poster for one of the episodes of one of the previous crossovers with Superman holding Supergirl in his arms in that iconic issue kind of cover where we saw Supergirl die and she didn't appear within the DCU for quite some time. But what I'm going to see here, and what I'm predicting, is that we will have them all folded in upon one Earth, and then we will see where this goes next. This does leave us room for maneuver here, with Arrow possibly coming back for a final Crisis or Infinite Crisis. Maybe he'll be put there in a pocket world, living in a utopia with Felicity, just like Superman and Lois Lane did there with Superboy and Alexander Luthor of Earth 3, which again would be absolutely bizarre. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you think that could possibly happen? Do you think that this will be what we see next here with this? Do you want to see it? Do you want to see a Lois Lane and Superman TV show there in a unified universe there? Is this something you actually want? Because Tyler Hoechlin has been pretty controversial. But we know that Greg Berlanti will be making this show with Todd Helbing, so it will be a very big show. But it seems like they're moving away from the woke culture of Supergirl and Batwoman, which have proved to be utter and complete flops, personally. And seeing a Superman is something which will be pretty awesome. Supergirl was great in the first season, but they just absolutely dropped the ball there. And Batwoman is just abysmal. I have personally stopped watching the show. Talking of woke shows, we had the next episode of Watchmen air last night in America, and I've just finished watching it, and it was just abysmal. Personally, I think that DC did the right job by doing the sequel to Doomsday Clock and setting it in the main DC universe, because what we've got here, for some reason, is a race war with the Rorschachs being white supremacists, and we also have the police who were on the side of of people of colour, but now they're not on their side. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, and the message they're trying to say here doesn't really fit. And the worst thing I can really say about the show is that it's boring. It's absolutely dull. The storylines aren't really that interesting. We have a Tulsa race riot with flashbacks, with the main character possibly being linked to one of the people involved in that race riot, one of the people who were the victims there, which kind of really pales in comparison to the original Watchmen storyline of the Earth having a catastrophic event happening that has been started by Ozymandias. Now, part of me is thinking that maybe they're going to go down the route here that Ozymandias has started this race war for some reason to try and unify the people again. But even that feels absolutely hokey and forced, where we've got a story about race and a race war and things like that. It doesn't really feel like Watchmen. It just doesn't feel interesting, and the mysteries are something which I don't care. Who are the main character's children? Who is her family? And everything like that. It just doesn't seem to fit, just if at all. And it seems like they're trying to virtue signal here with this. But for me, it would be great if it was a different show. Black Lightning is dull, but it has a decent story about kind of the culture and the things that happen in those people of colour's neighbourhoods. But here on Watchmen, it just doesn't work, and it feels incredibly forced, with Ozymandias killing clones and things like that, and just being an absolute loon, when in the comics he was cold, calculated, and actually wanted to make the world a better place. But the absolute bastion of the kind of peak white man has been brought into task here by the Watchmen, and another victim of woke culture again. An absolute shame, because even if they were telling this story and it was actually interesting, even if this story was a sidebar to a main interesting story about what happened after Watchmen, the comic book, ended, well, that would be something I could get behind. But here, it just seems a macro story in what needed to be a bigger world. But that's it for this video. Please drop a like, please subscribe, and let me know what you think down below. Good or bad, I'm a big boy. I can take it. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.